We are at the Lakes International Comic Arts Festival with an Englishman in San Diego. My name is Leonard Sultana, and this is Kieron Gillen. How are you doing, sir? How has Kendal treated you?
Kendal's treated me very well. I've treated myself quite badly, but Kendal has treated me very, very well. It's delightful. It's very mellow.
Well, I mean, I know that you've spoken about UK cons before, and I know you've lauded over Thought Bubble and Kendal. And I mean, what's the appeal of the UK con over the
Well, I must admit, Kendal, the Lakes and Thought Bubble, obviously very different cons. This is actually the first time I've done the Lakes, so I've got a lot of friends who've talked about it before. And basically their word of mouth made me want to come here. But it's like, this is very much a boutique con. This is like, if you look behind us,
absolutely.
Look, this is not an American con, much smaller. But the talent they have here is enormous. These are some of the biggest names in the industry here. This is much more like, there's a human connection here. Yeah. And Thought Bubble is this kind of, Thought Bubble's like a mid-sized con. It's a small con for the UK.
It's getting there. I mean, it's certainly getting. It's sort of like the size keeps growing year after year after year.
It's like 12, 13k, which of course for Americans is tiny, but for the UK it's a bustling little con, and it kind of just, how to phrase this, it does this is what British comics is vibe, and it's also got a very flat egalitarian surface, so you go there and I could be sitting on a table, and the table next to me is like somebody who's doing their first black and white indie comic, and the table next to them is etc, etc, etc. So in other words, opposed to most cons, which tend to most American cons, which they separate people out a bit. Yeah. As you find your quote unquote niche. This is very much like, this is comics, and I love that. And of course they also let me DJ.
Well, yes. I mean, I presume that's going to be on the cast for tonight.
Not tonight, actually. As far as I know, I'm being asked tonight. And I'm not sure I would.
But then again, it doesn't matter if you've been asked or not. Usually, sometimes you.
The decks. Thought Bubble though, definitely. As in, they're doing it, the corner change again, and I'm planning to be epic. It'll be good fun.
It's good. Sounds like it's going to be fun. Because I mean, obviously, I'm looking forward to Thought Bubble, and it's going to be kind of like a return, certainly when it comes to bringing the Wiccan Divine to Thought Bubble. Because when I spoke to you last, and when Thought Bubble was about to come around, had you all been nominated for the Eisner at that point?
No, we hadn't been nominated for the Eisner, but we did win the British Comic Award.
You did at that weekend.
Yeah. So no, that was like our first. It was our first big con after the trade had come out.
Yeah.
Or maybe no, that was New York.
Well, I think it was that weekend, I believe. I seem to remember.
I can't remember. It's like, it was in November.
Yeah, because I bought it. At which point I then completely forgot to take it with me to get it signed. It was rather embarrassing. But there we go.
Memories. So it's like, I tell you, but Thought Bubble is kind of one that is intimately connected in me and Jamie's career.
Sure.
The first Thought Bubble in 2007 was coming out just as we finished the first Rue Britannia. They were the first con to ever invite us as guests, and they paid for our travel, they paid for our room, and we'd never been treated even slightly with respect before by any con. So we basically were, I love you, Thought Bubble. And every year it's grown, and for us we've grown, and it's been a useful kind of. It's our Christmas or like our New Year, and it's always this kind of. I said this on the internet, but it's like if what we do is a religion, this is our like Christmas. This is our most important ceremony.
Fair enough.
And it just feels like, this is where we are now. This is where we are now. And this has been a good year, and we've got a lot to celebrate. And
it started there. I mean, with the awards. I mean, I was actually in the room when the Eisners were being announced, and I mean, at first I was surprised, and then I was kind of heartbroken. I mean, but then again,
it's an award. Awards are silly. It would be nice to win. On the other hand, Lumberjanes is a hell of a book. Yeah. And it's like, I said, I'm not going to pretend we didn't want to win, because that's we were there. We were just there for the free food, but the kind of it was a good field. It was good people. It was like, I think Matt Wilson was. I was like, Matt should have won colorist. Matt was really good, and I'm not saying everyone on the list was really good, but Matt has done things in color which I don't think anyone's even tried this year. And what he's doing with Wicked, I'm incredibly proud about. It's astounding stuff.
You must be incredibly proud of how WICDEV has been received. I mean, certainly with in terms of just the amount of cosplay that seems to show up at every single event.
Yeah, honestly, it was like I haven't actually done a final count. It's about 40 cosplayers at New York. Not many big books. I mean, I'm lying. WICDEV's a big book now.
You can't deny it now.
It's getting a bit. I mean, New York. We actually signed. The queue was queue, as in like proper queue.
Yeah.
Anytime we're at the table. So that was like 16, 17 hours across the weekend at that just our table and having signing. And it was just that motoring for the entire weekend. And that's kind of the awareness that, that's so physically exhausting. I've done no work this week. We can't do that level of. So, when people have a level of book, they can't. access has to go down weirdly.
Sure.
So in that position now, we've just got to accept the fact we're actually stopped being an indie rock band and now we're a stadium rock band.
Well, I mean, not only that,
and we will work out what that means.
and releasing about 3 albums worth of stuff. I mean, I remember it was your birthday week, and you had something like 7 books out on the shelf.
Oh, it was like the first week of September. I had think either 8 or 7, and then like the first week of October I had a similar big bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I'm not quite sure what happened to the schedule there. It's nice because my plan next year is to take it down a few gears.
If you got any busier, I mean, I think it'd be.
So the big problem is that stuff. A lot of that stuff is I backloaded. So in other words, I wrote the first Arkham Movie in 2010. I wrote all of all of Immaterial Girl in 2012.
Oh wow!
So in other words, these are kind of stuff that I have. And, yes, I've got to polish them and rewrite them, but they're not quote unquote new work. So in other words, in terms of new work this year, it's been hard. And to be honest, it would have been like when Ludicrats we realised wasn't going to come out this year.
Yeah.
And part of me went, oh god, there was such a stupid reason why it's not coming out as well. I'll talk down the line. But the other part of me went, oh, that's good, that's 3 more scripts you have to write. And that kind of, I was aware this year I was pushing it so close to the red. And next year is, I'm doing Mercury Heat, I'm doing Wick Div, I'm doing Uber, which I'll carry on writing on a slow pace, I'm doing Darth Vader. And I'm doing like a couple of other really small things, but nothing like...
Well, I mean, you mentioned some big headliners there, and so
I have a good. Why would I do any more?
Absolutely, that's a very good point. I mean, when I spoke to you earlier on today, and I was getting my Darth Vader signed. I was trying to get myself in there as well.
I'm moving closer to you. Oh no,
that's okay, that's fine. Darth Vader's signed, and this one of these books is not like the other. And you got down to the bottom, and there was Immaterial Girl, and I saw your eyes light up. That was definitely kind of like. Is that the project that's most close to your heart at the moment?
So it's I think because the thing about Phonogram is I have a weird sense of that. The fact I wrote in 2012 means there is the distance. It's set in 2009. It's about the me of that period. And in other words, I find it kind of hard to process in some ways because it just feels like when I've got to rewrite issue 5 at the moment, as in, polish it up. It is like editing a stranger because it's that distance. Whilst Wick Div is me wrestling with the world I find it now. So as Wick Div is something arguably more personal, but Phonogram is much weirder. Phonogram is every issue I sort of look at and think, this is weird. I'm not even sure how this as a story, I'm not sure how this even holds together.
Sure. I mean, to talk about Wick Div, because sorry, I just keep talking in hashtags on this.
No.
I'm talking about Wick Div.
It saves syllables.
I seem to find that when I read the first book, it is very much kind of like a companion piece to Phonogram, in that it is very much talking about gods as rock stars as gods. But now we're into a second volume, it's very much more the murder mystery which kind of like underpinned the story. Was that something that you kind of, you wanted that kind of, that pop culture mirroring in the first volume, but then it's time to get into the meat of the mystery of it?
I think that it's weird because, how to phrase this? Where we go at the end of the first volume is also, so at the end of the second volume takes a very short turn again without, spoiling for anyone who's read it. So it's like, the murder mystery has an important part for the story, and the politics and the backbiting and the travelling show, the soap opera is the plot driver.
Sure.
The murder mystery was for me always a useful device to. Keeps the plot moving. It's an excuse, whilst we've revealed who the murderer is by now. So it's that kind of, it's a useful device to get stuff happening. And now we're in the position where, even if they solved the murder mystery, all the characters hate each other so much that they would literally just generate plots between each other themselves indefinitely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, we know how we do that.
Do we have a full cast list at this point, or?
No, a lot of people come. I mean, we actually going to do some stories back in the past. There's some like, there are some more characters who come to the fore. But it's a pretty big cast already.
I think also, what I've really loved about the evolution of the book is also the introduction of new artists to take on episodes. That is, certainly the choices that you've made. I'm a massive Tula Lote fan, massive Stephanie Hans fan. So it's been great to see these fresh takes on certainly the physicality of the characters that you've introduced. So that's been a novel thing. Can you see more of that in future, or can we see the core team back?
Sorry, it's gone down well. It's like when we called this up commercial suicide, at least part of it was thinking, well, the sales might just crash. Jamie is such a big part, and Matt is such a big part. Doing an arc which is primarily without them, that could be a disaster. As it is, sales have been completely rock solid, maybe even up a bit, which is nice. So our rough plan going forward is basically Jamie is the primary artist to the rest of Wick Div. However, we're sort of maybe like once an arc we do a flashback issue to normally probably at the end of the arc. We do a flashback issue to an earlier pantheon. So, you know, the first one I want to do is the 1830s pantheon, which I know the story, and that'll probably appear in issue.
We kind of got that glimpse when we saw that in the first issue, obviously. We kind of got those very colourful and distinct characters. No, that'd be nice.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So not the 1920s, the 1830s.
Oh, wow, okay.
As in, like,
further back.
We referenced that in the issue 2.
Yes.
It's the Romantic Poets. So I'll do my Byron, I'll do my Shelley. And that'll be and that is a really good way to bring in a separate artist because, you know, it doesn't mess up the mood of the present time. We can bring them in, and we're not sure who they're going to do that, but, you know, maybe like one an arc. So it basically gives Jamie a bit more time to for deadlines, and also we like. I mean, there's so much about the book of the visual iconography, as you say. That's why we do the alternate covers. We get some of our favourite artists to show their take on these gods.
Well, I have a pile of them that you'll be seeing at Thought Bubble because I did my Darth Vader today. It's Rick Dibbs at Thought Bubble. To talk about Darth Vader, which we briefly, we can't talk too much, obviously. Yeah. Because I mean, we've had Jock here at because he's going to be doing he's doing production work on episode 8. Yeah, I mean, he was just in his panel. He was like, I can't say a thing. I can't say it. No, I honestly, I can't even refer back to anything else because no. In terms for yourself, because I'm very interested in how who approached who. I mean,
I just got a call one day, and it was Jordan from Marvel saying, "Do you want to write a Star Wars book, probably Darth Vader?" And I was like, "Are you sure?" But it was that kind of they fought over the guy for the job.
Because I mean, what I'm really struck by Darth Vader as a book is you listen, or you look through the thought bubbles, and you hear James Earl Jones.
Thank you.
And it's certainly you start with that, and that's a fantastic way to start. Because you have that base, but then you have to kind of put your own words in there. Do you still hear James Earl Jones when you're
it's like you know when a voice. It's like funny. It's like I don't hear James Earl Jones. I hear Darth Vader. The interesting thing about Darth Vader is you think of him as a character. Well, you know, James Earl Jones' performance is so much a part of it. I find it very easily to synergise Darth Vader into a real person. And you know when it's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And you cut words, and there's so much about the book was actually having the cast around him because Vader can't talk a lot. The more Vader talks, the worse it is. So you're surrounded with people do all the talking for him. He can just like do the one-liner. Oh, not one-liner, you know what I mean? It's not like he can stand up with Darth Vader. But you know what I mean? There is a lot about also maintaining Vader's mystique. There's a lot. I spend a lot of time trying to do that. That's the kind of the hard things, as in making Vader feel like Vader. You know, you should be kind of worried. But anyone on the same panel with Vader, you kind of know they may not get it out there. You know, that's what the book kind of runs off.
I mean, I really like the evolution of the character, that drawing of lines between what we know from Sith to New Hope. That kind of why has he made that decision to betray the Emperor and do what he needs to do, and indeed the whole what he's doing at the moment, which is very much in the background and doing his own thing, as it were.
I mean, you can't write Vader without writing Anakin. It's the kind of it's a character portrait. So you know, I did a very close reading of all the movies and the material and worked out ways to delineate effectively across time.
When was the last time you saw the films? Just to kind of keep that touchstone in mind.
When the last time? I need to watch them again.
Because I remember reading the script from the director's cut issue, and you said right. It's best probably to watch the films again, just to kind of get the voice of this.
Honestly, it's that kind of.
Is it now your own story, really? At the end?
It's weird. It's like a lot of it's internalised. As in Vader's quite like the great thing about Darth Vader is we know the ending. You know, because in some ways we are filling. The story is Darth Vader, the only survivor of the greatest military disaster of all time, it reclaims his position and goes to higher heights. It's the. Because that's what you see. We see him beginning of Empire. He's in charge of the fleet. He's aboard the executor. He's kicking ass, and he's killing people like he feels like it. As opposed to in Star Wars, where he's the
bitch.
Sorry, I wouldn't go that far. But you know, he is.
He's definitely got it on a leash.
He's an enforcer.
Yeah.
And so how does one get to the other? And that's the kind of thing. Is so. I delineate meaningfully between the 2 points.
Fair enough. When you were in the room, because I can imagine there was that moment when you were called into the room with the kind of the story overseers. I mean, how much kind of leeway were you given in terms of creating the character?
You are expressly encouraged to invent in the Star Wars idiom. And it's like, you know, at the same time, we're not going to pitch anything which I think is outrageous. I mean, as I said, we have an implicit story. It's not going to be Darth Vader goes on a disco. He's going to disco DJ. I'm not going to pitch that because that's not a sensible Darth Vader story.
Well, maybe next year. Who knows? Maybe when the film comes out and everyone's comfortable with seeing a DJ Darth Vader, which I think we're going to be seeing in episode 7, from what I've heard. I mean, we've heard nothing. I mean, that's the thing. I think that's where a lot of people are interested in these books, because there is that kind of our touchstone at the moment of what we're going to be expecting in the film. So I think that's fascinating.
Much like Jock, I cannot comment.
Well, I mean, I asked Jock, have you got your premiere invite yet?
I can't say.
Really?
No. Right, that's enough. Though.
That's enough of Vader.
Yes.
Okay. So from here on in, then, I mean, you've obviously got and put deliberately a lot on your plate. Can we see anything else in the near future? Or is there any projects that you would like to tackle?
There's a minor thing which will be announced like relatively soon. It's for like coming out early next year, but it's like it's a small thing, but it's part of it. It's a small thing, but it's a part of a much bigger thing.
Okay.
And that's all I can say, and that's very exciting. It's me finally. Basically, I'm involved. Me finally doing the video game comic. I think people have expected from me because I used to be a games critic.
Yeah. How was that today, by the way?
That was good fun. It was a lot of fun. It's like with my friend Anthony down there. I'm making sure we're still here because he's giving me a lift back. That was good fun, yeah. And there's working towards whatever is next and big, and it's kind of like, whatever.
Because I've often thought of perhaps there would be a video game kind of story coming from yourself because of that in your background.
It's weird. I think I got a lot of my video game ideas out when I was a video game journalist.
Sure.
The music stuff generally, I did much less music writing, so it's kind of like fermented in my brain more and became a bit weirder. But this is a game idea. It's kind of like, I think it's got a bit of intellectual meat. I think also it's got a very dumb, fun story engine. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. And I think the thing I want to wrap up on is where it goes beyond the comic book page, because obviously there's the announcement of WICDev on the small screen.
Well, it's been optioned by Universal.
Because this is part of Matt Fraction and the comics. Milkfed, yeah.
Milkfed. Matt and Kelly Sue are producing. We're still basically, acquiring talent. I mean, we're just trying to work out, what is the treatment, what's
I mean, did you have a cast in mind when you kind of put the book together?
I don't think like that. It's weird. I mean, apart from obviously the pop stars, but the pop stars aren't really them.
Yeah.
No, I've never had a cast. It's like people ask me about dream casting, but I just don't. Because I don't
leave it alone.
I don't know the names of actors. I don't remember any of this stuff. Jamie's a bit better than I am. But how to phrase this? Basically, no. It's like I spend a lot of time with all my comics. I think of them as comics.
Okay.
And I don't really think about them in other media. And in fact, with WICDev, it's especially hard to adapt. So it's like whoever chooses to write this thing has a problem.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
But I think visually, it's going to be a stunning book.
Oh, it should.
I can imagine from some of yourself as well, you are probably going to be that kind of person that will just stay as far away from the production as possible, so you can be as surprised as possible when it comes on.
I would say it'd be like, I genuinely wouldn't want to say. I think me and Jamie both say, we've got no TV experience. There's a limit to how much we would like to be involved. But a lot of it depends on what take we go. We go for. There's certainly some takes I think I might have more involvement in, and there's other takes I think would be better for me to stay away from. But either way, it's like I think what we always say is like we're looking for somebody to really make it their own.
Yeah.
It's like we don't think faithful adaptations will necessarily work, and as long as you keep to some fundamental core of what the book is, go knock yourself out.
Fair enough. Well, you've got another day of Kendal. I mean, what has been the kind of tone of the people that have been in front of you? Have been friendly and I don't know Kendal that well, so I don't know how the audience type have been.
It's been very mellow. It's been very laid back. I mean, as you say, it's the village hall sort of vibe. Not it's a village hall, but you know what I mean. As in, people are here that don't really interested in the medium. You get people who are, because it's free to come into the hall, who don't know anything about comics. Just chill. That's the thing. I was in New York last week.
Well, I mean, that's I think where I'm going because of the contrast.
It's like deliberately, I haven't gone to Kendal before because it's the week after New York and I'm always messed up. I thought, okay, this time now I'll give it a shot. You see how it feels.
How have you? It's the jet lag.
Obviously, the joke's a bit back, and it's the laboratory. It's just the tiredness from New York that's killing me. But yes, it's fine. People have been delightful.
That's all we need to know. Kieron, thank you very much indeed. This is where I now try and balance that and shake your hand and say, okay. Yeah. And yes, this is. That's the way it's gone. This has been Lakes International Public Arts Festival, and with Kieron Gillen. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, thanks for having me.